Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming to today's event. We have some really exciting and important news to share with you. But before I dig into the details, I just wanted to personally, publicly thank the employees of Williamson County Schools. It's an honor to work amongst you. The work that we're doing is critically important, and you prove time and time again that you're up to the task. So once again, thank you for your efforts in the past year. I look forward to working with you in the year to come. At this point in time, I'd like to turn it over to our board chairwoman, Mrs. Pat Anderson.
Thank you, Dr. Reedy. This is another proud day for Williamson County Schools. As most of you know, we have spent the past year focused on 4 words. They've kind of become the 4 R's of Williamson County Schools: rigor, relevance, relentlessness, and relationships. And I think that all 4 of those words have played an incredible part in the success that we're here to celebrate today. We have incredible students who show up each and every day ready and eager to learn. We have awesome building administrators and teachers who are focused on student learning. All of you go above and beyond the call of duty. We have an incredible county mayor, county commission, school board. We have a central office staff. We have Dr. Looney and countless others who I do not want to not mention, but there's a lot of folks that play an integral part in the success of this district. And on behalf of the board, I want to congratulate each and every one of you for the part that you've played in our success. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce, we have 4 other board members that are here today. Many of them are not able to attend because it is in the afternoon and they have other obligations. But I do want to take a moment to introduce the board members that are here and ask you to stand when I call your name. We have board member Eric Welch. Almost gave you a new name. Sherry Hammond. Vicki Vogt. And Bobby Hullett. And I want to thank each of them. I don't know if you all realize how tirelessly the board works on your behalf, but we could not do it as partners with you. And I'm so blessed to be a part of this incredible group of people. So thank you all for being here today to join with us and celebrate the success of Williamson County Schools. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Looney.
I noticed that we have a few students in the audience, so boys and girls, I just want to say thank you. We have the privilege and honor of working with you every day in our school buildings to try to improve your lives, and the work that we accomplished this year really is your work. We didn't take a single test. We didn't study for any of those tests. What I hope we tried to do is encourage you and motivate you and give you the skills that you need to be successful. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to talk to the students just for a second. Your work paid off so much so that we're ranked #1 on last year's TCAP. #1 in the entire state of Tennessee. How about that? #1 on the TCAP in reading, #1 on the TCAP in math, #1 in science, and #1 in social studies. So what you see on the screen is a graph from the 4 previous years. The red bar indicates the most recent round of assessment on the TCAP. And you can see over the last 4 years, we have made steady and sustained progress in each of our subject areas. This is the highest level of achievement that we have ever measured on the TCAP in Williamson County Schools. So thank you, boys and girls. Thank you, teachers and administrators and parents. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's always good to know that we're number one, but it's also important for us to kind of contextualize how we did relative to other districts and across the state. So the orange line or yellow line is how the state of Tennessee, all the students in the state did, and so you can see that we're outpacing the state by significant margins. This is for the high school end of course exams, and you can see in each of the subject areas how Williamson County has done. We are number one in the state in English 1 and 2, and we're in the top several school systems in the rest of the subject areas. You can see that in Williamson County, we continue to outperform the state by significant margins. Interestingly enough, you'll see that in English 3, it looks like there's a tiny little dip there. The interesting notation is that we had a 5% increase in the number of high school students taking AP English rather than English 3. So that English 3 does not include that 5%, nor does it include all of our advanced kids taking the AP course and exam. So despite the fact that we had a significant increase in the number of students taking AP English, our English exam scores remained relatively constant. What an awesome job, high school students, teachers, administrators, and parents. Let's give them a round of applause. So here's the big picture. There's a lot of data, and in the course of the next several weeks and several months, we're going to be drilling into the data and dissecting it and learning what we did really, really well and what we can still work on. But here are some big pictures. We met 10 out of our 11 achievement targets. We grew in the percentage of students that graduated on time at the high school level from 91.8% to 92.2%. We wanted to grow just a little bit more, actually a tenth more, and we would have made all 11, but once again, steady progress as she goes. Very, very proud. We closed the achievement gap for 10 of 14 categories of students, and I'm going to share with you some additional slides that really kind of drill down into that and talk more about that. And then overall improvement of 7 out of 8 subgroups. The one group that we want to continue to work hard on is our Hispanic population. We need to get those students to grow just a little bit more in the year ahead. Great, phenomenal results. Congratulations on those. Now, when you start unpacking the data, I think this really tells a significant story. This is TCAP Reading Language Arts for grades 3 through 8. The red bar, or line on top, shows the percent of students that are proficient or advanced in Williamson County schools. The gold line is the state average. So you can see that we're 34 percentage points higher than the state of Tennessee. Now, let's unpack that 84% and start looking at subgroups within Williamson County schools. The blue line represents Black, Hispanic, and Native American students in Williamson County schools compared to the state average. So what that indicates to us is our Black, Hispanic, and Native American students are outperforming the all students category across the state. The same is true of the green bar, which represents our poorest kids, our most at-risk kids, our students that qualify for free and reduced lunch, actually outperform the state aggregate. So too do our special education students. When you compare our special education students to the all students category across the state, our special education students outperform the aggregate student. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, so if you see the text on the bottom of the screen, I wanted to determine, well, what does that really mean when you compare all students to our special education students? So we did some further analysis, and what we did is we compared our special education student population to the non-special education population across the state. Our special ed students compared to the non-special education students across the state. And what we found is that we still score 10 percentage points higher than the students across the state that don't qualify for special education. I'm just going to tell you, if that doesn't give you goosebumps and doesn't excite you, then you're not breathing, folks, because that's amazing stuff. Give yourselves a round of applause. Same data, but this is for math. You can see that most of our subgroups actually outperform the all students category across the state. Absolutely incredible work. As Mrs. Anderson has said, we've been focusing on the 4 R's almost to nauseam this past year, but it's an indication of what we can do when we focus on our most at-risk student population in Williamson County Schools. We can truly move mountains. We can change their destiny forever by focusing on differentiating instruction for those boys and girls. This is high school end of course on the algebra exam. You'll notice that there's a little bit of difference here. This is the first year that the state combined the scores for Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. And so what we know from our data is our Algebra 1 scores were a little bit stronger than our Algebra 2 scores. And so it doesn't show that in this particular slide, but if you unpacked it, it would show it a little bit more extreme. Once again, very, very good results on the Algebra 1. Our students with disabilities are our lowest performing students on this rigorous end of course exam, but you can see they're well within the range of the all students category across the state. The other thing that you should know is that in Williamson County, most of our Algebra 1 students actually, most of our Algebra 1 coursework is taken in the 8th grade rather than the 9th grade. And so this represents just a small segment of our remaining population. High school end of course English, you can see how we fare relative to the state. Once again, we're significantly 29 percentage points higher than the state average on English, and most of our subpopulations, most of our students that fall into a subgroup actually outperform the state aggregate. So in summary, we are at record levels of student achievement in Williamson County. You know, last year we had the pleasure of announcing that we were #1 in the state after a lot of work, and we thought, wow, that was terrific. I'm not sure we could do it again. But the fact of it is that you did do it again. You have accomplished almost the uncomplishable, and that is 2 years consecutively in a row to become the highest achieving district in the state and to reach record levels of performance in Williamson County schools. We closed the achievement gap for many, many students in Williamson County schools, particularly for economically deprived students and for our special education populations. We have a little bit of work to do with our Hispanic population. We have plans in place, and we look forward to serving those students in a more productive and proficient way moving forward. And then finally, our graduation rate increased from 91% to a little bit over 92%, which is phenomenal news. We have more students graduating from traditional high school in the 4-year time allotment. I will say it's important to know that the graduation data is actually lagging data. And so this data is actually a year old for graduation rate. We know our number for the cohort that just graduated, and I'll just say that I sang a little tune on my way home when I saw that number, and I can't wait to share that with you in the years to come. I will say it is a blessing, it's a privilege to work in Williamson County Schools. Thank you, students, for your hard work. It's paying off. The tests tell us that you're learning a lot of things. Teachers, we just simply couldn't accomplish anything without you. So thank you for drowning out the noise, for putting all of those obstacles aside for a little while and focusing on the really important work, teaching and learning in Williamson County Schools. I want to thank the school board for your vision and for your leadership, for your drive, for continuing to push me to take the district to new heights. I want to thank our county commission and specifically our mayor for his support in getting a budget passed. You know, I'm always saying we don't have enough money to do the job, but somehow you always prove that we can do miracles with the little bit amount of money that we get. I am extremely proud of you. I'm grateful for you. So thank you, everyone, for coming today. Thank you for enjoying or for participating in this celebration. And I am so pleased with your performance. Can't wait to begin next school year. Anybody else want to make any comments? All right. Well, we're going to celebrate. Let's give everybody ourselves one more round of applause. Woo! All right, we can just celebrate, stand around, go home. We have lunch in the back.
Well, thank you all. I appreciate what y'all do.